Are we live? All right, I'm doing things completely different than what I usually do. So I'm going to hop on here and make sure that like the audio is working. All right. There we go. All right, we are live. We are working. I am running everything today through a completely different software setup. We'll see how well it works. I'm not sure. I wanted to test today, as I'm kind of doing things a little bit more casual than even what I usually do. So if you're familiar with my channel, you know every Monday I go live with Theo Live, which is why the timer still had the Theo Live logo, and I just crossed it out because I was like, I'm not making a new one that fast. Today I have my little buddy with me. He's just hanging out over here. I'm going to be giving you a little bit behind the scenes look at how I do YouTube. And the reason why I'm doing this is because look over here. Look at this. We are at 502 subscribers. I wanted to make sure before I went and celebrated 500 subs that I had at least a couple, because every day, there's a couple people who, I don't know, maybe it's a bot, maybe it's like the real deal, but they just go back and forth whether they're going to be subscribed or not. So I wanted to make sure I was, on a safe ground to say we're at 500. But that's pretty cool. Pretty cool. I wanted to talk today a little bit about how I got to this because it has been hard. I'll be real honest with you. YouTube is not the easiest thing to do in the world. I will say it's super fun. I really enjoy it. I've met a lot of great people. If you are here live, I'm doing things different, so I can't really tell whether people are live or not. I guess I could go over here. It looks okay. We got a couple people hopping in. Let me know. Hop in the chat. I have something completely different than what I usually do. Usually I run everything through Ecamm. And Ecamm is $20 a month. And I'm just kind of tired of paying $20 a month when there's just really one feature that I just couldn't replicate on OBS until this past week. I finally figured it out. And so that is the chat. To be able to have, yep, got little buddy with me. But to have one comment come up on the screen and be able to highlight that on PCs. Hey, calm down. We're live over here. He's playing with a lightsaber. And when you're playing with a lightsaber, you got to scream it out. But yeah, I was finally able to figure out how to have one comment come up and be able to highlight it, which is a big deal because on the PCs, super easy. There's lots of plugins that you can do. But when you're on a Mac, OBS is still kind of like figuring out, people are still making new things to be able to run things off of a Mac. So I finally figured out how to highlight comments the way that I want to and have some interaction with you guys, because that's what my live streams are all about. I want to be able to interact with you. I do have information that I want to convey and all that kind of stuff, but I wanted to be able to make sure that I'm going to be able to talk with you guys like right here. Let's see if it's going to work. It's the moment of truth. Is it not working? What? No! It's not going to work? If it's not going to work, I'm just going to get out of here and go back to Ecamm and start a new stream. I want to do the thing. Let's see. It did it with mine earlier. Oh, I don't have... Okay, if I come over here... Okay. All right, here we go. Two Guys Talking Podcast Network. Glad the chat is working and that you found a way to replicate almost everything. Yeah, except I totally forgot about the chat. So let me come over here. Here's the thing. When you're running through OBS, you got to be able to fix things. And you got to replicate all kinds of things. It doesn't do it for you. So let me bring in a browser source here, add existing. Let's go with chat. And okay. All right. We fixed it on the fly. What? Well, that's interesting. This might not be much of a celebration, guys. I don't know what that was about. I wonder if that's going to happen again. I remember back in the day when I first started doing live streams, I did my first live stream through OBS. And there was a weird thing with my camera to where I had to push the button every once in a while. And I'm wondering if that's going to happen again. So I'm just kind of figuring things out and kind of wanted to talk about what I do for YouTube. Like, obviously, I'm not an expert, guys. It's just it's not the easiest thing to do, and I don't know. I'm still learning. I'm still growing. Let me know what you think about if you do live streaming. Let me know. Have you looked into OBS? Have you looked into Ecamm Live? What do you see are some of the differences, some of the things that you like, that you're enjoying, that you kind of wish was maybe there and it's just kind of missing in the software? For me, it is definitely comments. I figured out a way to do it, and I'll tell you guys about it in a little bit, but it is it's not the easiest thing. We got two guys talking podcast network. I'm just going to call you two guys from now on. Hopping in again. Work it. That's what the presentation time is for. Getting after. Yeah, you gotta just figure stuff out, you know. But yeah, it's an interesting thing. So, hey, do you want to come say hi? Come say hi to the internet. We're just hanging out here. You watching your Muppet Babies? Yeah. All right. You play, buddy. So, very casual. Let's see who else is here. Two guys saying again, the view is great. Love that you have the color on the screen. That's so vibrant. Right? I will say, like, if you're talking just about the comment, you can change the colors up in this way, and I'll show you guys that in just a little bit here. But if you notice, I don't know if you can tell on the screen that you're looking at, but when I was setting things up and figuring stuff out, the avatar is like really like low grain image. It's not very great, but it does give you like a general idea of who's talking. So there's at least that. Grandma Joe hopping in. Love to hear the info since I am not live yet. Yeah, I've got some things to share. Like I said, I'm not an expert or anything. I just kind of wanted to tell a little bit about some of my background with YouTube, how I've kind of figured some things out, and I will give you a little behind the scenes of what I use to get things going, because it doesn't take a lot, to be honest, to go live. Now, you've seen already in this stream, sometimes you gotta, figure some stuff out and it doesn't go perfectly, but that's the thing about live streaming. What I found is that you guys are like super patient and you're willing to like roll with me when I like mess something up in the tech stuff. You guys all understand that it's live and this is a new thing that, people generally didn't go live until like the last like 4 or 5 years, right? So it's a relatively new thing. So we're all kind of figuring it out. And I found that the audience is usually pretty patient when you're live. Now, maybe if you have like other stuff going on in like an actual video that you have already edited and everything, and you mess up something, people will probably call you out on that one, but usually not when you're live. Happy day after Thanksgiving. Love your ministry. Thanks, Grandma Joe. I appreciate that. For us, I'm here in Canada. I am an American, but I'm here in Canada. So Thanksgiving was a while ago, but happy Thanksgiving to all of you guys. If you guys are, are you guys doing like your Black Friday stuff? How's Black Friday in the States? I used to love doing Black Friday, going to Target. I would put on my football pads, get ready, get those shoulders ready to go and get what I wanted, which was usually Blu-rays and tech stuff and all that kind of stuff. Nowadays, it's not really that way, at least up here. We just kind of just do our thing. What a cherub. Great thing you're sharing the experience with them. Yeah, sure. We'll call it that. It's mostly I just wanted to do this thing, and I'm kind of hoping that something comes out this weekend that'll make it a little bit easier for content on Monday. The Rise and Fall of Mars Hill is supposed to come out. It was supposed to come out, I think, on Tuesday, maybe Wednesday or Tuesday, the final episode. And I want to kind of wrap things up on that because it's kind of been like a narrative in my channel. But I was like, I want to do this stream before that comes out, and I need to listen to that. No, actually referring to your camera, the color on you and around you is so great. My cam stuff is so white. Yeah, that has been a huge learning curve too, guys. That's been huge for me to try to figure out, because I was right there with you. My camera stuff, I mean, if you look at my early stuff, it's bad. Even after I got my camera, like I have a Sony a6000 and I've had it since I think in March, and yeah, it didn't look good. I'll show you a video here in just a sec here. Grandma Joe putting up Christmas decorations. Nice. Yeah, Christmas stuff. Oh, man. I think that's been like the most helpful thing in this pandemic is just putting up Christmas lights. Like last year, we did it crazy early. Like here, you know, we have Thanksgiving like the second week of October, and then Halloween, and then basically from Halloween on, it's Christmas season for us. You know, some people are like, no, we wait till after American Thanksgiving, but I'm just like, no, everything Christmas goes up the day after Halloween. So it's just brighter and funner. So I'm glad you're getting all those Christmas decorations up. That's great. Let me talk a little bit about how cool it is that I'm at 500 subscribers. Because, man, for the longest time, I was sitting around like 50 subscribers. Let me peel the curtain back a little bit. This is not the first time that I've tried YouTube. I tried YouTube a couple years ago under the name of Grumpy Baptist, which is my Instagram handle. And I kind of didn't want to share too much of my life, but wanted to do vlogs, but I was having a really hard time, to be honest. So I had got that up to like 50 subscribers after a couple months, mostly through my Instagram, because I was posting pictures of my books, and people love pictures of books. If you want to get some following on Instagram, just hashtag Reformed Theology and buy a whole bunch of Reformed Theology books, and you'll get people who will follow you. But I had tried YouTube, and it just wasn't working. I couldn't figure out exactly what I wanted to do, who I wanted to be on the platform, and so I kind of gave up. Like I just let it die. I left it alone for a while, and then I actually ended up deleting it. And part of that was people, like I was in a transition period. I've talked about this a few times. I did a live stream just a couple weeks ago now with my wife. You should go over and watch that. The Why We Left Fundamentalism one. And so I was in transition. Some people were stumbling onto my channel and hearing me say some things. And I probably shouldn't have said some things, but you know, I am who I am. So I was just like, I'll just delete it. And so I didn't do anything until the pandemic set in. So I think I had tried in 2019, like over the summer of 2019, I tried to do my channel, my Grumpy Baptist channel. And all I was doing was, you know, vlogs with my phone, you know, just getting this thing around. I have a gimbal somewhere, and I was, you know, just doing my thing and talking about, you know, a little bit of theology at the end. Basically, here's a day in the life and then a little message after. And it wasn't very good. And I didn't really, like, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed making content that my kids could watch. They love seeing themselves. And but I just let it die out after that. But then when the pandemic set in, you know, up here, as you guys know, by watching the news, and if you're plugged into the Christian world, you probably know that Canada's been really strict on guidelines and, you know, pastors getting arrested and all this kinds of stuff, all kinds of controversy. I'm not here to talk about that controversy. But one of the aspects was, you know, all these churches immediately went to online. Most churches were not prepared for that up here. Most churches in the States, it's like 100 people would be like a normal sized church. Up here, it's like 40 to 50 would be a normal sized church. And with that, much older. So not a lot of young people. And because of that, not a lot of technology being used in most churches. So what I was trying to do was like, all right, well, if the pandemic is going to last here, I'll make some Bible study stuff. And so I started doing these. Let me go back over here. I started doing these videos where I would mark up scripture and basically just do a Bible study. So if I go to my oldest here, you can see over here that I got like my family vacation one. I think that's private. I don't know. But then I started doing these marking up Romans videos. And basically what I was doing was taking a text, and I've done it fairly recently, so maybe you've seen it on the channel. But this is what it looked like. It was just me sitting in my kitchen, the house that we lived in at the time. And, I put some books there so you would know that I was a little bit smart. You all right, pal? Hey, you need a hug? And then I would just mark up the text. I would take a picture of the text and I would mark it up, and it would just be a Bible study. I called it Marking Up the Word. And I started doing that, and it was like the simplest setup that you could have. Do you want to say hi? Do you want to say something? We're live on the interwebs. Yeah? Okay. Do you want some goldfish crackers? Here. Ooh, goldfish crackers. Goldfish crackers fixes everything. Let's see. Two guys. Congrats on the 500. No small feat, and every stair step matters. Right? It's hard. It's really hard to do YouTube. And a couple more here. Visual aids always generate interest. Yep. And love hearing your process. It is awesome how God moves and what he uses. Thanks. John Adams. Congrats, dude. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. It's been a long road. So I started doing like these Marking Up the Word videos, and it just wasn't good, to be honest. I did it for a while, and then I think that there's like a pretty big gap, like right here. I basically finished Romans 1, and I was just doing like an expository study, and then I just stopped doing videos for a bit because I was like, no one's watching these things. And that's the thing. People don't talk about it, but I mean, like some people do, but it's really discouraging when you're making content and no one's watching it. And even if it's bad content, like you're learning and you're growing. And if you go back and watch those videos, they're not great. But I was trying, and but I wasn't having any real amount of people. Like I would post it on Facebook as well, because I was on Facebook at the time, not on Facebook now because pandemic. And I was like, I'm out of here. But but I was posting on Facebook, and so some people from church were watching it, and it was beneficial for some because they weren't able to get out to Bible study, right? People were live streaming their Sunday services, but not like a Wednesday night Bible study or Saturday morning men's or women's Bible study, things like that. So I was trying to maybe help people out in that way, and it just wasn't going great. And then I got a little bit more professional. Not professional or anything, but I got a camera. I got a Canon M100, and let me just say, don't do it. Don't get that camera. That camera was awful, but it was better than my iPhone, which is what I was doing. If I could actually, I'll just show you over here. Nope. Where's my photos? There it is. So this was my setup for that first video that I made of Marking Up the Word. It was just me at my kitchen table. I had my Blue Yeti that I had for podcasting from years ago, and a little Joby Gorilla Pod thing that was like so hard to keep the phone even balanced, and my little Rode mic that I already had. And, I just tried it. And, so I guess my point in bringing that up is just to say, like, you don't need like the fanciest stuff to just get started. Now, at the same time, the fancier the stuff, the better the image looks, probably more people you're going to be able to get watching your stuff. But I mean, it can start as simple as that. And then, I kind of transitioned and did some more stuff. I tried this vlogging every day, and I was, trying to talk a little bit more about theology. So I did my 25 books in 25 days, my theology bookmas thing, and nobody watched it. Nobody watched it, except I will say this. It's kind of interesting. I mean, even today, if you're watching this, you're probably a YouTuber, a fellow YouTuber trying to, make content and have a ministry online, or trying to just, create some fun content. Grandma Jo is one of those. She has her own channel. And she says, with shut down, no women's Bible study, so I asked God what he wanted me to do with the talents this side of eternity. And at age 63, started channel 3 to 5 minutes. Grandma Jo, keeping it real in faith and truth, right? Like, I think a lot of us looked at it and we're just like, well, how can I help? What am I good at? And, for me, I was a pastor. Currently, we're working toward a church plant. But I was a pastor. I went to seminary, did all that stuff, got my education. This is what I'm good at. This is what I'm good at, is talking theology and preaching. And so, people are suffering. And I mean, especially at the time, people were really suffering. And so I thought, all right, I'm going to use some talents here that I have, what little I have, and go to YouTube. And so, I've tried all kinds of different content. Most of it was just the Bible study. And I'll say this is one thing that I've definitely learned, is that if you're just going to have a Bible study and it's just, you preaching through, some passage of like 5 verses, no one's going to watch it. And either you got to be okay with that, and like maybe you're making this content for just like a few people, and YouTube is more of like just a landing spot for you to be able to put it on something so other people can watch. If that's what you're wanting to do, that's great. But if you're wanting to reach out to people, you got to have hooks. And that's one thing that I learned, is that you just have to have a hook. And for me, that was super uncomfortable, because I'm one of those guys, like when I get into the pulpit, like, yeah, I have an opening line, but I'm not a performer. Like I'm an expositor. So I get up in the pulpit and I say, turn to this passage. And, like, yes, I get animated through sermons and, have illustrations and things like that. But like the kind of clickbaity, like I have a hook, I need to get you like drawn into this video. For me, it felt really false. It just felt like a really big gimmick, and I'm not a gimmicky kind of guy. And so that was really uncomfortable. So I was really resilient, or hesitant is the right word, toward not doing, straight up Bible studies and theology stuff. And especially in talking about like current stuff. So, I mean, like it was all the way until this video right here, the Trump prophecies. I'm not here to trigger you if you are a big Trump fan. Like, that's fine. Maybe not sometimes, but I'm not here to be like super political. But there was this guy who was on YouTube, and he was like doing all this kind of stuff about Trump prophecies and all that. And I was like, fine, I'm going to make a video about that. And that one got, I mean, if you look at these videos, 25 views, 27 views. A few of these are sermons that I was preaching for churches in the area and couldn't go and actually be there. But, and then 639. Like, that was my first, like, oh, okay, I'm kind of figuring out I need to like have, something that's relevant to what people are searching for. And that's where I have found the little success that I have. I'm not saying like this is the path for everyone, but that's where I've found success, is thinking about what people are going to search for, and what's actually trending, at least in our Christian circles, not probably for the rest of the world, but in Christian YouTube circles, what are people talking about, and then making a video about that. And I've tried the best I can to kind of bring that back to the Word of God, and dive deep into some theology and some things like that. I don't always do it right. Let me say that. I've made some videos when I've tried to do this, of seeing something that's relevant out there, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to make a video about this. This is going to be good. And it wasn't good, and I didn't do a good job of like being I don't know, not clickbaity. I've fallen into that trap a few times. I've actually deleted some videos and gone back and been like, I don't like the way I came off in this video, all that kind of stuff. So you're gonna learn, you're gonna grow. If you're a YouTuber like me, and you're trying to do this kind of stuff, give yourself a little bit of grace, that you're gonna try some things and you're gonna fail. And sometimes you're not going to come off the way that you would like to come off and present yourself to the world who's watching. You want to look good, but at the same time, sometimes you got to get your hands dirty and talk a little bit about things that are going on in the world, and combat a few ideologies and things like that. And sometimes you're going to mess up. So give yourself a little bit of grace. Don't try to go there. But if you look back on a video and you're like, I don't like the way I came off in that video, you could always delete it. Let's hop into the chat here and see what else is going on. John Adams again. Also, search-based content is super helpful. It's essentially the only way my channel grows. Yeah, I would say that's the same for me, John. Like, the only way my channel has really grown is through making content that people eventually find. And sometimes it is not off the bat, and I'll get into that in a sec here. Two Guys Talking Podcast Network. One of the things I still don't like about YouTube is the bend toward needing to be clickbaity and the algorithm liking that. I don't like it either, man. But it's the game. So you got to play the game. That's the thing with YouTube. That's what I've learned. And even though I didn't want to do that, I wanted to make content. And, I look at other guys who were doing it, and like Mike Winger. Mike Winger is a great example of this. I don't watch him all the time, but I respect his ministry. And he has basically just like, hey, I'm going to dive deep into the Word of God. And maybe it was the timing of when he started. But I think probably even the content that he was doing, he was really focused on Jehovah's Witnesses, and that seemed to be something that a lot of people were searching for. And so he got a big following, and so now he can do that. For us starting out, we're not there. No one cares. I'm sorry, John, but it's no one cares like what we think about things. We're just some guy on the internet. So we need to like build up some credibility with people, and that requires having people come into our channel and digest things and maybe see some of the things that they're searching for. And then later on, we can get into more of this stuff. Like today, I'm talking about YouTube stuff, and you guys are watching. If I had done this 6 months ago, no one, zippo. 0 people would be watching this thing, but you guys have watched a little bit of my content. You've hopped into some of the live streams, and now you're like, okay, well, maybe I could give him, a little bit of credibility here on what he's talking about, and you want to listen and interact. But if I had done that 6 months ago, nobody would be here watching this right now. It's a necessary part of the platform. You're absolutely right. The best piece, I'm thinking of advice I've gotten both about podcasting and YouTubery is that it's capturing my legacy. That's the foundation piece I've got. That's interesting. Yes. It's like, what do you want to be known for? Yes. But also, if you have a legacy, you got to have, things out there for people to know you by. I get it. And so whatever else anyone else gets off the various efforts we make, that's the bonus stuff. Yeah. Yeah, I get that. Grandma Joe, in for the long time, just hit record, then pray and do the hard work to get 1% better each week. Yes. And that's what I did for a long time. Like, it was basically, I would say, like a full year of just me trying and doing like my marking up the videos, marking up the word videos every week, and just trying to like be consistent. And I mean, I still like it was like May that I had 50 subscribers, and I remember like I almost quit. If you go back over here, I'll come back to that ESV video in a minute. But where was it? I think I actually deleted the video. But it was, let's see, 9 months, 7 months. Yes. All right. So in between here, what was the Reformation about and being a Christian when life gets hard? That was when, like, I took a month off and I was just like, I don't know what to do, because I don't want to give into like the super gimmicky stuff, but I also am not really having any success, and I kind of felt like I was wasting my time, and so I was like, all right, I'm done. And then like I was just like, no, I like it too much. I like making content, and I really do like doing the Bible studies. I might get back to it, even if it means that no one's going to watch it. I enjoyed it. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to hop back into it. But it was super discouraging. So if you're there, just know, like, I can totally relate of, just trying your hardest. And you're like, well, I'm up to 21 subscribers. Yay. All this work, all this gear I've got, all this time I've invested. It can pay off. I'm not saying it will, but it can pay off. And for me, I'm finding a little bit of success now. And I think most of like the success that I found is just figuring out what I want to do. That's been the biggest thing. Because for a while I was like, I'm just going to do these Bible studies. And when something big, huge happens, maybe I'll talk about it. Probably not. And that was the biggest mistake that I made, because I let things pass. I'm here in Canada, and I didn't really I had one video, this Grace Life Clothes one and stuff, talking about what was going on at the time. I could have done a lot more on that, and other guys did, and they had a lot of success in that. What? Yeah. All right, don't push any buttons, man. All right, I need to finish up the story part, and then we can get into like some of the other stuff that I wanted to do. But yeah, so what did I do? Let me answer that. What did I do to grow my channel? Like, because I mean, even like I said, back in May, 50 subscribers. So what did I do? Well, I started focusing on the gimmicky stuff, and I was trying to find a way. How do I talk about these things that are happening? Because for me, I'm not interested in cultural things. I actually made a video like 2 weeks ago, and I deleted it, about SNL and their clown abortion skit, because I just don't like it. I don't like talking about things that the world is doing and commenting on that, because the world is the world, and they're going to be the world, like they're going to do stuff. And I don't want to be like Christian pointing down and being like, look how bad they stink, like that's not what I want to do. So I kind of like, that was one of the mistakes I made, was I made this video and it did okay, but like, that's not what I want to do. But what I wanted to do, I'm very interested in the Christian world and what's going on in Christianity and what's happening in specific churches and theologians, and what are they talking about, and some of these deeper theological points. I'm interested in that stuff. So how can I talk about what I'm interested in a way that's still like meeting up to like the whole algorithm stuff and searching and all that kind of stuff? How can I mix these two things? And for me, what I found was that I just needed to try it a few ways, and sometimes I got it right and sometimes I didn't get it right. I did a few of these vlogs. I did like, I think 20 of those. Most of those were just like me and my kids just trying to make it through the pandemic and not go crazy in our little house. But then it was this one right here. This pastors and plagiarism video basically changed everything for my channel, because it was something that I was passionate about, that I had experience with, and I could talk about, these individuals who were very popular, Ed Litton and JD Greear, and not, just dog on them. That's my thing. I hope I don't, if you look at my channel and you're like, dude, he's just really mean to people. I hope that's not the impression that you get from my channel. I don't like to talk about specific individuals and their motivations and things like that. To me, that's gossip, and I try as best I can to stay away from that. But, I was like, okay, there are people who are talking about this thing, so let me quickly, and that's what I've learned, like the biggest piece of advice is make that video as fast as you can. If there's something that you see, oh, people are talking about it, and Twitter is like a great way to figure this stuff out, is if people are talking about, make that video today. Do what you got to do. Cancel some things, move some things around, make that video as soon as you can. Even if it's just you on your phone, in your car. I've seen videos get really popular that look awful, but because they jumped on that topic so fast, YouTube was like, okay, this is one of the ones I want to get out. So that's what I did. I had heard that they were talking about it on Twitter, and this idea of plagiarism behind the pulpit, and I have experience on that. So I just wung it and started talking about it. And this video got 1,500 views. And I mean, like, when it crossed like 600, that was the most I've ever had anyone watch any of my videos. And so that kind of like was like the lightning bolt of like, oh, this is what I can do. I don't have to gossip about people, but I can talk about what they said and what they did. But and I can do it in a way that brings it back to like application for me and you. And like, okay, now I can figure out how to do this, like the gimmicky stuff, as well as like what I think is like deeper content. And so that was like the turning point for me. And then from there, I was like, all right, I need to double down on this. So I kind of let the marking up the word stuff fade away and started going to more like searchable things. And specifically, you might not like it, but individuals, like no one cares about Dean Lentini. Like, I hope that you do. Like, and my friends do, my family do, but like the world does not care about Dean Lentini. You know who they do care about? They care about Mark Driscoll. They care about David Platt. And so I was trying to find like some of these bigger names when stories would happen. And I mean, it usually isn't like something I have to dig for. Like, it's just like, oh, people are talking on Twitter about this because those are kind of people I follow, pastors and theologians and stuff. And so like, you just make videos related to that, and you don't have to dive deep into who they are as individuals. You could just talk about what's going on in their world, and people are interested. And then you can bring it back to the Word of God and make application for you and me. And that's what I started to do. And it worked. And it is working. Maybe not as well as I would want it to, growing as fast as I want it to. I would love to grow faster and do that. But it is working, and it brought you to my channel. Most likely, if you're watching this, you came to my channel because of one of these videos that I made. Probably the Mark Driscoll video, because that was just like the biggest shocker. I was like, okay, I had a definite interest in, Mars Hill and everything. But I was like, other people are going to be interested. So it was like after like episode 3, and I was like, I'm going to make this video, and I did. And then tons of other people did like a week after, but because I had jumped on that trend early-ish, like, 3 episodes into this thing, but because I did that, I was able to get a lot of views, and that brought so many subscribers to my channel. And the other thing I want to talk about too is if you look at this, there are some of these videos, I mean, this one, man, this has been like one of the best videos that I made is the ESV or CSB Bible, just talking about why I liked it. That has brought in so many subscribers. Like this video doesn't have nearly as many views as my Mark Driscoll video, but I get more subscribers from that video than I do the Mark Driscoll one because it's controversial, right? So you're going to have people who are going to like it and dislike it. But if people are searching for the CSB Bible, they're going to be like, oh, I like what he said about the CSB Bible. I'm going to subscribe to his channel. So, I mean, there's a good chance you watching this came over because of that video. But making searchable stuff, like what John was saying earlier, that's how his channel has grown. That's how my channel has grown and will continue, hopefully, to grow. And, sometimes, I thought, there was a moment where people were talking about David and Bathsheba. You might not agree with my stance on the video, but, I tried that. I thought it was a searchable thing. Not a lot of people have watched it. But, you try things and sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. And then I found that, what do I want to do? I want to talk about theology. I want to talk about things happening in Christianity, and I want to do it in a live stream thing. And that's what led me to doing Theo Live. And that has been super fun, and I super enjoy it. It's why I'm live right now. I enjoy going live. I think it's fun to just kind of be in the moment with you guys and be able to interact. And that's really where my channel is going in the future. I'm wanting to do Theo Live on Mondays. Might move to Tuesdays. Let me know if you're here. What you think about, like, what day would be best. Either Monday or Tuesday. But yeah, that's where I'm going. Live episode Monday or Tuesday, and then a more published video with searchable kind of stuff later on in the week, and try to stick to 2. I was trying to do like 4 or 5 videos a week. Maybe you were like going through your subscriptions on YouTube and you're like, dang, man, you can just keep on making videos all the time. I'm sorry if I flooded your subscription stuff, but it's probably going to be back down to 2 a week. Let's hop in here and see what you guys are talking about. Grandma Joe, correct. My goal too, earn respect of followers. So in 1 to 2 years, go live and do interviews. Okay. Yeah, I understand. And I'm sure time is probably part of that, depending on what you're doing, work related and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, 1 to 2 years is a long ways away, just saying. Congratulations on the 500 plus. God give blessings to the faithful. Thank you, Terry. I appreciate that. Yes, you are a YouTuber, even with 5 subscribers. Yeah, that's one thing. Like, the reason why I titled it that is because I kind of don't think of myself as a YouTuber. I'm just like a nerdy theologian type. So I just talk about it online. That's kind of how I view it. Not like the, hey guys, welcome, like that kind of thing. Like that's what I think of when I think of YouTuber. But here you go. I don't know. I guess I kind of am though, because I am like very consistent on here, or at least I try to be, and making the content, doing the YouTube stuff. And I mean, it's, my wife is probably really tired of me talking about YouTube. Grandma Joe, I found you by collaborating with another Christian YouTube creator. So probably talking about Tim Frisch. Tim Frisch, great guy. You should go and subscribe to his channel. He mostly does like Bible reviews, but he does some social commentary. And I don't need to say it. Everyone has their own takes on different things. So I'm sure there are things that I say that he wouldn't agree with, and he has things that he says that I probably wouldn't agree with either. But at the same time, we have Jesus in common and a lot of theology in common. And so, yeah, we have a good time hanging out together. He's been very generous to me in letting me come on his channel. He's got like 16,000 subscribers. That's a big platform. So yeah, that's cool. I'm glad you found me through that. Tuesday's my vote, but I in either. Yeah, I appreciate you letting me know, because I do want people to be able to be there for it. Like, we're building like this little community, which is so fun. But yeah, it's all right. Enough of that kind of stuff. Here's what I wanted to do. I wanted to show you a little bit. You know, this stream is probably already like really long. What time is it? Yeah. I'm the most rambly guy in the world. This is gonna be long, so I understand if I'm not gonna have the greatest analytics on this thing of people dropping out. But I wanted to kind of show you guys a little behind the scenes, because here's the thing. Grandma Joe, one more time. Oh, let me get my mouse up there. Loved him and found him from Dear Woke Jason. Yes, Dear Woke Christian. Yeah, great guys. Really, really respect those guys. Very thankful for them letting me hop in on some of their discussions, and we have a lot of fun when we get to hang out. So here's the thing. All right, if you're interested, I don't know, maybe you're not interested and you're just like, dude, you have 500 subscribers. Why do I care what your tech setup looks like? Well, I wanted to show a little bit about like how you can do things a little bit cheaper, because there are so many things that people just buy, you know, and like, no disrespect to anybody. If you are a fellow YouTuber and you're just like trying to do your thing, and so you're just like buying whatever, you know, like Sean Cannell says, or, you know, all these other guys who know a lot more than me, like that's absolutely like fine. Like go for that. And if you have the money, that's the thing. But for me, I've figured out a few things. There are certain things that you just don't need in order to go live, but everyone thinks that you need it. And so I thought it'd be kind of fun to show you a little bit of like some of the mistakes I've made in purchasing things, and a little bit about like how I do this. Before I do that, let's see. John Adams. Thanks for this stream today, Dean. This one was super helpful. I definitely need to do search engine content more. Maybe I'll try and do one of those and one Bible exegesis per week. You know, like, hey, whatever works for you, man. Like, I'm just saying this is what I've found. It just, for me, it wasn't working. Maybe it will for you, John. I really enjoy your content. I'm sure that there are many people who would, if they saw it. And that's the thing with YouTube. It's just that stupid thing of getting into that algorithm so that like other people can see it. Like, cause it's good content, but you know, if no one is clicking on it, then it's just like it's good content that no one's seeing. And that's what was happening for me. But yeah, Grandma Joe. So point is, growth can come from collaboration too. Yeah, definitely can. Yeah, for me, I've, if you notice on my channel, I don't really do collaboration on my channel because I'm still trying to figure stuff out, to be honest. I'm hopeful maybe in time I can kind of just like build an identity of what my channel is a little bit more, and trench it a little bit more. You know, people like Tim Frisch, like they've been going at it for years. He's been on the platform, I think, since like 2019, going and doing exactly what he's doing now. So he's got like a whole identity already. So I want to make sure like I've got that all set up before I start having a bunch of people on my channel. But I totally understand what you're saying. You know, sometimes, you know, and honestly, you can get better content. Like Heather and I, when we did our live stream on fundamentalism, that was a lot of fun, and I think it was more interesting than my usual stuff. So I'm learning from that, I'm taking notes. But let me talk a little bit about what I'm doing over here. All right, let's see if this is going to work. Oh yeah. All right. So this is what it looks like. All right. This, when I'm here in front of the microphone, this is what I'm seeing. So I've got my M1 MacBook Air. So that's, you know, probably the biggest investment that I've made, but I was going to make that investment anyways because I needed a new computer. For a long time with my YouTube, I was actually just doing everything off of this. Like, there are so many things. I think I've talked to Grandma Joe about this, but I mean, LumaFusion as an editing software, by the way, that's still what I use on my M1 Mac. Like, I still use LumaFusion because I just got used to it, and it was $40, and it works on the Mac and the iPad and the iPhone, and it's just so easy, and it looks good. Hey, you okay? Whoa! All right, man. Do you see? Whoa, look at all this stuff. All right, so what I used to use was just my phone. I used to use just my phone in recording everything. And then I got the M100 Canon, and it was just not good. I didn't like it. I sold it. I lost a little bit of money. But when I wanted to go live, when I knew I wanted to go live, I tried to do it with my phone first, and using this app, actually, this OBS camera app that I'm actually showing you stuff on right now. It was like $20 for the app, but it just didn't work. It looked super glitchy and didn't give me the colors that I wanted. I think it was Two Guys Podcast Network who said that he liked the colors in my scene here, but it didn't look like that. So I have my, forgive all the toys, this is in my basement, but this is my Sony a6000 that I got on eBay for super cheap. And here's the thing. If you're not going to be streaming in 4K, you can get by with just this. Like this was, I think, up here, everything's more expensive here in Canada. But I mean, it was just like, I think it was like 400, less than 400. It was like 350. And so it worked really well for $350. Now, I will say that this lens that I have on here, this is the newer. It's I think it's 25. What do they call it? Like it's like how it's like 18 to 55 for like your normal millimeter camera lens. This is the 25 one. This lens is great, and that's what makes this look good. It is not the camera. The camera actually looked pretty junky with like the like normal lens that it came with. And I was like working on my lighting and trying to figure things out, and I didn't want to spend a bunch of money. A lot of people, they go and they buy that Sigma 1.4 aperture lens, that 16 millimeter one, and it looks super great and it has autofocus and all that kind of stuff. But that thing, at least up here, is $500. I don't have $500 for YouTube. I bought the camera, and that's the most expensive thing that I bought strictly for YouTube. But I mean, I needed something cheaper, and so this lens that I got up here, I think it was about $60. I think in the States you can get it for much cheaper, and it works great. It's a manual focus lens, but here's the thing. Like when I'm doing these things, I'm not moving. I mean, I might move a little bit, and you can see I get a little bit out of focus. And like up here, if I'm doing something, or especially this one kind of sucks sometimes if I want to be able to like show you guys something. Like it's manual focus lens, so it's just going to look blurry as all get out. So that's kind of a bummer, but I don't do that very often, and I've learned, I really shouldn't be doing that. So you can get by with just one of these lenses, and the main thing is to get as much light into the image as possible, because the more light that's there, the better your camera is going to look. Like it's going to be able to pick up a lot more detail, and of course your colors are going to look better. You're going to be lit a lot better. So I would say if you are looking for a camera and you're like looking at some of like these $1,000 cameras, and you think that's what you need to have in order to do YouTube and to do live streaming and to look really good and have, that nice like bokeh, that blur effect in the background, you don't need it. Now, does my image look perfect? No, obviously. Like every time I'm like fiddling with stuff, and you'll have to fiddle with stuff, and that's fine. But $60 versus $500 is a big difference when you're trying to do this stuff, because there's other stuff you got to spend money on. Here's something. This light is the Mount Dog cheapest studio light that you could probably get on Amazon, and it had actually, I don't really use it, but it had that light bulb in it. Oh, let me. This is great content, isn't it? But it had that light bulb in it, and it looked terrible. And so I was like looking into new lighting, and I was like, oh, am I going to have to get a new light even with this new lens to be able to look good? And then I found that Mount Dog actually had, and other companies have it too. Like, I think it's all made in the same factory, just other people put different names on it. But they have a dimmable light bulb. Like, so I didn't have to buy a whole new softbox and everything, which would have been like, I was looking at things and it was like $150 to $200. And then I found that they make this light bulb for $35, and this light bulb is dimmable, so I can do this and go back up and have it like that. Because for a long time with this other light that I had, it was 100 all the time, and I couldn't dim it. And it doesn't look good when it's like this. Like, even though I have the ISO on my camera down all the way, I looked blown out. But when I do this and I can go down to even 60 or 70, like, now we're talking. And so, like, I think that would be a great thing if you're looking at lights. Also, you don't necessarily have to have a softbox to do this. You can buy that light bulb and break a lamp. Like, I'm not an electrician, so I'm just saying, do your own study of like what exactly you can do for wattage and all that kind of stuff. I don't want any electric fires being blamed on me. But like this thing up here, like for a while I was using that because like I would do like this 100% light bulb because it came with 2 light bulbs. And so I was like, okay, I'll have one pointed at me, and then I broke a lamp and put that thing in there to light up the background because it wasn't like, it just looked really weird without it. And so, I mean, you could do that and put that like $30 light that's dimmable into that. I'm just saying there are ways you can do things that'll make it a little bit easier on your bank account. Another thing that I would say, and this is something that I'm still learning because I kind of like, I see these videos. I don't even know. Is anyone interested in this? Let me know if you're still here and you're just like, what? Why is he talking about all these things? I just wanted to talk about it and just show a little bit because I would be interested in this stuff. Let's see. Grandma Joe had to hop out. Blessings, catch the replay starting Christmas tree now. Thanks all, Grandma Joe. But yeah, I would have wanted to know these things because I had to do a lot of research. I had to buy things that didn't end up working. Here's one. Even the way I have this light mounted, it's mounted from the ceiling here. That is the microphone. The microphone boom arm that I was using earlier on in my YouTube journey. I bought it. It was cheap, and I didn't really find a use for it. Like it just didn't look good. It wasn't working properly. And so I was like, I'm never going to use this, but I set it aside, and now I can mount my light to where, it's just right over here, and it's okay. It works. It's not like the best looking thing, but here's the thing. When you go live and you're making videos and all this stuff, this is what you're seeing. It doesn't really matter how the rest of this stuff looks. Let's see. John hopping in here. Use that light and a thick bed sheet hung up. Creates a huge softbox. Yeah. By the way, John, I didn't comment on your last video, I don't think yet, but I watched your newest video, and the lighting looked so good. You looked so good. I think it was just in your living room. Looked fantastic. So just like the lighting and the colors, man, you really nailed it. And John again, or a shop light works great too. Hard to get the Kelvin dialed in. I'm super into this stuff. Yeah. So you just got to like figure crap out, just try to like try some things and see if it works. And if it works, great. And you might save yourself some money. If not, whatever. I love seeing people's setups. Thanks, man. I appreciate the encouragement here. So what else do I want to show you? Talking about that microphone thing. I mean, the Blue Compass, I've been eyeing that thing for a long time, and maybe eventually I will get it. But the thing about that is that the Blue Compass, Rode PSA-1, Rode PSA-1 Plus, all these like the Gator Works one. What's the other big one? I don't know. There's like 5 really big microphone boom arms, and they're all about $120 up here. And it's just like, like maybe eventually I'll have the money to just do that. But when I was looking for stuff, I found this guy right here. This little little microphone stand. And yeah, it takes up he's having some fun. But it takes up some room on my desk. And so it's not perfect for a boom arm situation. But this thing, I can put pretty much anywhere. And it's going to hold up my microphone. That's probably one of the bigger expenses is, I've got the Rode Pod mic. But it's a heavy mic. And it holds it up. And it makes it so that the image doesn't look... it's not that big here in the image, and I appreciate that. I hate it when it's like a huge, thick, like microphone stand coming out, and like to me, it's just like I want to be able to see the background more. So like I got this for like up here, it was like $35. So go on to Amazon, and you could probably find it cheaper in the States if you're there. But yeah, it's awesome, and it works just fine. It does everything that I need it to. And I will say this thing, you can build it out. You can do things. I actually had a clamp thing for it, and I was using that for a long time in my videos, but then it was just getting in the way when I want to have when I want to do this and be able to live stream. I need to have a little bit of access here and like being able to push buttons and different things like that. So, I had this arm that was basically like right here, and it was just getting in the way. So I put it back onto this thing, and it's been working pretty well. Let's talk a little bit about audio, because to me, that's the most expensive stuff. Yes, you got a camera, but you can get a good looking camera for cheap. And if you buy the right lens, you can save a lot of money and it could still look pretty good. But audio, you can't really hide on that. You can't really get cheap with audio. You need a good mic. There are other mics. I had tried, I should have had it out, but I had tried the Shure PG48, and it was so quiet. I just couldn't do it. I wanted to go XLR because I'm kind of an audiophile, so I wanted to sound good. And so I got the PG48 Shure microphone, but it was so quiet, and I didn't really have a way to amplify it at the time. So I bought a newer microphone, and that was the one that I was actually using in the live stream with Heather. She was using this, although she was really far away, and it bothered me, and I tried to get her to move forward. She didn't get any of my hints, but that's okay. It was fine. So I had bought those 2 mics, and it just didn't work. Now, I will say I did find a great deal. People want you to use, like, they have specific things. Like they have specific cameras, and they're all like super expensive. It's the Sony AS7 III or the Sony ZV-1 or all those different cameras. You don't need that camera. I mean, maybe if you have the money, go for it. It'll look probably better. But they also want you to get the Rodecaster Pro. And man, I would love to have that. I love audio. That sounds like fun to me. But at the same time, it's up here, it's $600. I don't have $600 to do that. But what I did have was $80 to buy this guy. This is the Zoom U24. It's an audio interface. I got it on a deal from Amazon, and I think it was a warehouse deal, but I mean, it works. It has two inputs. I could run the audio from my Mac into this to be able to use the headphones. That's what I usually do if I have clips that I'm going to be playing. But it works just fine. And it's an $80 interface, or at least it was for me. It might be more expensive. I haven't checked recently, but it was a good deal. And so I got that, and got the Rode Pod mic, which is a $99 mic. And I think that my audio sounds really good. I will give you also, this is huge for me. I got my little Stream Deck, the 6-button version. This has been really helpful when I'm doing these live streams. Now, right now, as you can see over here, I'm using OBS, and I'll talk about that in a sec. Usually, when I live stream, I'm using Ecamm, but I'm trying to get away from it, like I said earlier in the stream. And so, you program these buttons, and you can switch between these things. I could push this button, go back to basic, push this button, come back over to the mobile setup. I can go to the React thing, even though my iPad isn't connected. You can switch between all these things. I think that this up. Yep. All right. If you think about subscribing to the channel, I didn't check that before I got going here. This is all kind of like last minute stuff, if you couldn't tell. But this has been super helpful. Now, some people will say, oh, well, you need like the 16 button version or, whatever. I think they even get bigger than that. I don't. I just need to be able to go between a few scenes and, have my subscription thing pop up. And so all I need are the 6 buttons. I'm super thankful for this, but you don't need like the biggest thing, especially if you're just starting. Like if you don't know audio, like the Rodecaster Pro isn't going to help you. Like you're not going to know how to use it. If you don't know cameras, like a big fancy camera isn't going to help you. You're not going to know how to use it. So it's just going to end up looking, probably at least okay to bad, right? Like you got to learn these things, but you don't have to have the most expensive thing to be able to make it look good and to learn from there. What else do I want to show you? I do have this other light that's hitting me from the other side. And that's just on a little tripod. I got this wire thing, man. I need to fix this stuff. It doesn't look good. So that's just at like 60%. That's a cheap LED light that I got from Amazon. I got it in a 2-pack, and it's not very good, to be honest. I wouldn't buy it again, but it's good for like a little secondary light. Now, let's talk a little bit about the background. This is my background. I made it out of not plywood. What are these pallets? I got them for free. I got the pallets for free. You can find pallets behind your store. If it's a grocery store, most likely they'll just give you the pallets. And then I have these string lights that I bought for cheap, and I just have those at the top. And I bought these bookshelves and put them up, and I'm constantly moving them because I'm wanting them at different places. Just have a bookshelf and try to light it up as best I can. So the LED lights, they are ones that I got at like a version of TJ Maxx. And, I just have them stuck up with tape underneath the bookshelf. That's my little guy. He's very happy. I think Gonzo did something. And so, achoo. But yeah, I think it looks good, especially when I got this lens and I can kind of blur it a little bit more. then the lights actually, I think, look okay. Now, they're not perfect. Maybe you can see there are some times when the wiring is shown a little bit. But then I just tried to decorate it with stuff that's more me. And that's what I would say for you. If you're decorating your background, make it about you, because your channel's about you. And whether people like it or not, that's on them. But I've had people be like, hey, is that, like Back to the Future? Is that a DeLorean over there? Yeah, it is. And, you can have people like your stuff that way and be able to have some more interaction because they notice that you like things. Like maybe you like Psych. You can see my broken cookie jar that my sister got me years ago. Mad about that. The top of the pineapple is over there, but in the framing you can't tell, so it works. And then I also wanted to make sure people knew that I know my stuff. I went to school, so I got things like that around. Jim Croce in the background over there, and just a few of the practical lights. That's the practical lights. That's huge. It's huge to have just a few of those practical lights to just, I don't know, it just brings a nice balance to the lighting in the background. Last thing I want to talk about here is this. I want to talk about OBS a little bit. Now, I'm trying to switch to OBS. I will say it's not the easiest platform to figure out and get used to, but it's free. That's a huge thing, and it's actually super powerful. So it's really helpful in being able to just like figure some things out. And people are always trying to make new things. It's open source, so there's constantly new things that they're figuring out. So you're not waiting on a company to be like, oh, we need to make more money. Let's, get some people in by having a new feature. It's just people wanting to make it. Now, I will say, like I said, the hardest thing that I've figured out is how to have comments hop in here. If I go back over here, the way that I have stuff come on the screen is not within exactly OBS. So it's like, for me, I'm on a Mac, so it might be a lot different for you if you're on a PC. I would say life is a lot easier for OBS if you're on a PC. But at the same time, you got to have a really souped up computer to be able to handle OBS really well. And I just have the most basic MacBook Air M1, and it works great. Also, John, I just realized I'm like 2 minutes back in the live stream, so I'm probably commenting on old stuff. My bad. Oh, well, man, at least you're commenting, and I appreciate that. But the way that I figured out how to do this is this extension, this Chrome extension. I think it was, let me see, do I still have it open? This is the live chat overlay extension by, I think he's Aaron Parecki, something like that. And basically what it is, like, I have OBS right here, and then I've got Chrome open here. You can pop out the live chat, like over here where you're talking about stuff. There's usually like the chat right over here, and you can pop that out, and I can set it right next to OBS. And basically I make a browser source, which there's better videos. I could do a tutorial. I'm just saying, like, I'll put the link for the extension in the description. But basically all it is I can like be over here and be like, all right, what did Grandma Joe say? And I can click on it when I am over here, because I didn't add it into the other scene. That's something I'm still figuring out. But I just click on it and it comes up, and it's pretty good. And in the extension, you can change the colors and the fonts. So I have everything set to the colors and fonts that I have for the rest of my YouTube. And I think that really does a good job in selling it. Like, now, like I said, I'm not a huge fan of how how grainy the image looks on these icons, like the profile picture, but it works, and it looks pretty similar to what I'm able to do in Ecamm. I will say Ecamm is a lot more fluid of a system. So if you don't want to be able to like mess around and just want it easy, Ecamm's probably the way to go on a Mac, and it's $20 a month. Or I think that might be Canadian. It might be a little bit cheaper in the US. But yeah, so that's how I do my stuff. And over here to get it to go away, you just hit clear. And now if I go back over to here, it'll be gone. So it's pretty good. It's all right. Now, I probably bored my audience like crazy. This is probably not going to help my stuff going on at all. Like my algorithm stuff. But this is, yeah, it's been fun. I'm really glad about 500 subscribers. And I'm hoping that, we can continue to grow and have, some more interaction on my live streams on Mondays. And hopefully, I'm still figuring out exactly what to do in that other video throughout the week, like which one is going to be the one that I talk about things that are happening like in the Christian world, and more of the searchable kind of content. But I'm really excited. It's been fun the last couple months to see the channel grow and see a little bit of payoff, for all the hard work. And I will say that I've worked really hard trying to, I'm not the best communicator. I'm not the best tech person, but I try really hard, and I try to make it, that it's helpful content for people and also content that I enjoy to make. And it hasn't always been easy, but I'm glad that, the channel's going in the right direction. It's not going super fast, but I will say, it's a lot funner when you have 500 subscribers than when you have 50, because you have more people interacting with stuff. And that's what it's about. Interaction with you, being able to hear your perspectives and tell you my perspective. We could have that dialogue, but also, just even like hey, I really appreciated that video you make. That makes a big difference. So yeah, if there are no questions or anything, I don't know if you have questions about anything, if you're watching like the replay of this, if you're, I don't know, you're just bored and you're just watching stuff. But if you have questions about any of like the tech stuff, let me know. I'll try to answer it. Like I said, I'm not like a tech expert. I'm just trying to do YouTube for as cheap as possible and have it look okay. And that I think I'm accomplishing that at the moment. Now, hopefully, maybe in a couple months, I can upgrade a few things. There are things that I would like to get. I would like to get a better light. I would like to get an autofocus lens at some point. But, to get started, I think, you just got to go with what you can afford and try to get the best content, try to get the best image and audio out there as you can. And so that's what I've done. And hopefully you think it's okay. Anyways, I think I'm going to end the live stream, and hope that it's been helpful for you. Maybe you're a YouTuber. I would say stick with it. Don't give up. It's really fun once you get past a lot of the hard stuff, and maybe that hard stuff is going to last a long time. I'll say that. For me, it lasted a little over a year of me trying and not having a lot of success. And now we've gained a little bit of success, and hopefully things are going to continue that way, but who knows? But it's fun if you can get more people to just interact with your stuff. It gets a lot more fun doing YouTube. So that's what I got to say. Anyways, if you haven't already, OBS, like the video and think about subscribing to the channel if this is the first time you're hopping in here. I don't know why it would be, but